What's up, guys? Wade Willis here for my playthrough of Umineko. I'm finally starting the answer arcs. So this is like episode 5, part 1. I know a few of you wanted me to do the Umineko project version. I have a Mac though, and I tried to figure out how the heck to get it to work on my Mac, and I tried 3 different ways and it just did not work out. So we're doing the 07th mod, which is what I did for the question arcs partway through. And I liked it personally. I've heard good things about the Umineko project version. Some people like it better. Some think they're comparable. But we're going to have to stick with this way because of the technological issues I was having. So hopefully you guys continue watching, even if you do really like the Umineko project version. Episode 4, and I call them chapters sometimes, but it was so damn good. I love the ending of it. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how things progress here, what we learn. Is it going to be just, is episode 5 going to just be kind of learning how things actually happen for episode 1, or are we just going to get completely different things? I have no idea what's going to happen here, but yeah, we're all here for it. And yeah, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for tons of When They Cry content. After I finish this, I will probably be doing Ciconia and multiple other visual novels at the same time. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. Three, 2, 1, go. Oh, damn, okay. We're starting off intense.
殺したらそなたが歪めるだろうその表情が楽しいからの他に何の理由が必要なのか
Okay.
ほらほら目をつむらずにちゃんと見ろよ
Okay, I need to check to make sure I am recording. Okay, I am.
ほらほらほら魔法だよ家具だよそなたがどんなにわらわや魔法の存在を否定しようともほら悪いなバトラー結構面白かったぜしかし
So is this kind
お
of...
師匠様の言う通りにしてみたんだが本当に結構いいとこまで行けたな
Okay, so this is showing how some of the episodes ended.
程よくへたれて出れてみせると好感度ってやつが大幅アップするんだろ
That lonely tone was a desolate sound of the wind blowing by. The glittering rose petals on these bushes were all golden. The cloud of gold butterflies that had once danced through this golden rose garden like fluttering rose petals was no longer anywhere to be seen. The master of the Golden Land was the Golden Witch Beatrice. She might be called inhumane and cruel, arrogant and outrageous, or perhaps naive and simple. That laugh of hers, which lost its grace more and more the longer it continued, could no longer be heard. The Golden Witch Beatrice sat like a doll, resting in a deck chair adorned as beautifully as the golden rose garden itself. She wasn't relaxing there. Her eyes were empty. She didn't respond to any questions. Even so, she was not permitted to sleep. Beatrice sat like a doll. Her hair was down, and Virgilia was carefully tending to it with a comb. The usual Beato would surely have spent... This time... Oh man, I missed that. I accidentally pressed the button when I sneezed. However, she made no response and showed no reaction. So it only really looked like Virgilia was combing the golden hair of a large doll. There was a table alongside them. On it sat a chessboard, along with a jumble of black and white pieces locked in a closely fought battle. However, this setup looks somehow different than normal chess. Maybe the game was similar, though not identical. And on the other side, sitting back in his chair as he contemplated his next move, was a young man. No, perhaps it wasn't his next move he contemplated. Every once in a while he would change positions of the pieces, reconsidering the situation after every change. Maybe he was reconstructing previous games, trying to discover the thought process behind the moves that had been made. In the past, Kinzo, the Ushiromiya family head, once said that it was learning chessboard arrangements was like taking a journey through the thoughts of the old masters. Ushiromiya Battler was on a journey, a search for the thought process that had led the Golden Witch to create this arrangement and make these moves. Battler took a black piece that should have been moved forward and returned it to its original place, sighing deeply. Battler's pieces were white. However, on this chessboard, the black encampment was on Battler's side. He was reconstructing that arrangement, trying to play Beato's role. Yeah, her moves are really freaking weird. Even Battler didn't expect Beato would respond to that statement. Or rather, he was pretending to talk to himself, thinking that there might be still some chance of her responding. Oh my gosh. Kinda crazy to see her with her hair down. Beato's eyes reflected nothing, and her mouth told nothing. After begging him to kill her, the Golden Witch had become a corpse that had given up on life. She wasn't sleeping. She couldn't step down from the game that was therefore forbidden sleep. So those words must have reached her ears. However, they probably hadn't reached her heart. The Golden Witch would not sneer at Battler's moves, nor would she praise them or belittle them. By now, Beatrice is nothing more than a living doll. Even so, she would glance at them every once in a while. It would be an empty glance, but a glance nevertheless. Sometimes, she would seem to be making some sort of gesture, or even move her lips. However, her movements never managed to communicate anything to Battler.
どうやったらこの局面でこの指し手になるわけだ。わけがわからねえんだよ。お前の指し手はよ。
ベアとバトラ君が話しかけていますよ。
なんとか言えよ。クスクスとかゲラゲラとか。いつもの黄色い笑いでいいから。
Can you believe it? That shrill laugh at Beatos will never be heard again. However, even if she couldn't answer, his voice surely reached her. That was what Battler believed as he said those words, so he said it again. Yes, she's just defeated.
この局面でこの指し手になるわけだ。わけがわからねえぜ。お前の指し手はよ。
この子の考えることはわけがわかりませんか?
Brigalia answered in her disciple's stead. Up to this point, she had done her best to avoid speaking for Beato. After all, there was a chance that Beato would respond in some way, and Brigalia didn't want to be the one to steal that chance. So Battler was going to have to bear with this silence, until Beato herself answered. Brigalia could no longer bear to watch Battler like this. Besides, Battler also wanted to hear what Brigalia had to say. He believed that conversation would reach Beato's heart.
ああ、さっぱりだな。ベアとの立場になって、こうして駒を動かせば動かすほどに、わからなくなる。
A serial murderer following an epitaph. With that as a victory condition, I tried restructuring the games from the witch's side. But I never ended up making the moves Beato did. In those games, I could find several incomprehensible moves that clearly worked against the victory condition.
さっぱりわからねえ。
Well, in my opinion, some of what she has to do, a lot of her stuff is by chance. So by making it harder on herself, it makes the magic stronger.
こいつの思考を探る旅路はあまりに険しすぎるぜ。
でもあなたは投げ出さないのですね。
ああ、約束した。
Kill me. Let me die.
俺はこいつを安らかに死なせてやると約束した。そしてそれは俺にしかできない。
Beato's right ankle was bound with a heavy cold steel shackle. It wasn't tied to anything, so it didn't restrict her movement. However, it symbolized restriction. It was a visualization of the bonds that prevented her from leaving the game until she either won or lost. And the shackle was probably hurting her. The mercilessly cold shackle tormented her over and over inside her waking dream. So there was never any sign of relief in her empty expression. Her eyelids would sometimes tremble like she was having a nightmare, and every once in a while, she would let out a pain gasp. It's sad to see her like this, even though she's done horrible things. I like her character a lot. Unless I win, Beta will never be released from the curse that prevents her from sleeping peacefully.
良いのですか。第5のゲームはもう始まっているようですよ。
興味ね。
Why should I take part in any game unless Beto is my opponent? If that's the only alternative, then it's much better to use my time to reconstruct previous games while taking a journey in search of Beto's thought process.
次のゲームマスターは私がやるわ。異存ある？ないわよね。
依存だらけよ。ベアとは戦いを放棄して人事不正。ベアとの不先輩でゲームオーバーでしょ。
確かにベアとはいろいろとあったんで、今はちょっぴりノックアウト気味。でも戦う気力を失ったわけじゃない。だからつまり私は介助役ってわけ。わかる
？Beata was lying down on a deck chair almost as though she was sleeping. However, she wasn't sleeping, and she wasn't awake either. She was nothing more than a living doll that had given up on victory, who had asked Battler to perform her last rites, and who had surrendered everything. Of course, everyone just sat around the next game. The 5th game would never be ready. So Lambda Delta has succeeded Beato as the next game master and announced she'd prepare the next game. Well, this is going to be even
ふざける
crazier.
な。これは俺とベアとのゲームだぞ。お前らどこの誰か知らねえが勝手に話を進めるんじゃねえ。
あんたに意見は求めてないわ。どうすんのベル？受けるの？受けないの？
いいわ。あんたが引き継ぎなさい。
This is wild.
なんだと？ふざけるな。お前ら何者か知らねえが俺とベアとを無視して勝手に話を進めるんじゃねえ。
You have no choice, homie.
落ち着きなさいよ。確かにプレイヤーが変われば察しても変わる。あんたにとっては戸惑うことも多いかもしれないけど、それでも大きなヒントになりうるでしょ？
知らねえよ。勝手なこと言って仕切ってんじゃねえ。
Bro, I don't think you realize how powerful these
ベアと
girls.
のゲームを4つも繰り返して何もわからないんでしょ。ならプレイヤーが変わるのは大きなヒントになると思うけれど。
大きなお世話だ。これはベアトが用意し、俺を対戦相手に指定した。
Did she
俺た
design
ちの
it
ゲーム
though?
だ。どこから湧いてきたのかもしれないお前らにかき回されるのはごめんだ。
ならベアトを起こして次の準備をさせて。
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
できる？
ベアトはしばらく起きねえよ。それに新しいゲームなんて必要ねえ。あいつがこれまでに出題してきた4つのゲームの譜面だけ、仮に第5のゲームがあるとしても、それはベアトが出題し、俺に挑むものだけで十分だ。お前らには何の関係もない。
They've already been butting in, though. Battler couldn't hide his irritation at the two witches called Lambda Delta and Bernkastel, who had shown up well after the game's start, and who were now trying to take charge on their own. It looked like these witches were of an even higher rank than Beato. So high, in fact, that even Beato's teacher, Virgilia, couldn't even come close. Battler had a feeling he'd seen these two several times before. However, this was the first time he'd known their names and spoken to them directly.
ベアトを起こせず、あんたに次のゲームを準備もできない。だから私が次のゲームを用意するわけ。私たちはね、いつ正気を取り戻すかもわからないベアトにいつまでも付き合ってられるほど気が長くないの。ね、ベルン？
退屈はごめんなの。
That's their biggest
イライラ
thing.
するほどに。
お前が退屈がろうが、俺たちは知ったことじゃねえ。
まあまあ、このパーフェクトなラムダデルタ様に任せなさい。
Perfect.
私がゲームマスターを引き継ぐ。大丈夫よ。あんまり絶対完璧にはプレイしないわよ。ベアトっぽく、わけのわかんないフェイクや尻尾、ボーナスヒントをいっぱい用意してあげる。ベアトの世界をより理解するための大きなヒントにしてあげるわよ。
Letting my voiceless emotions explode, I slammed the table hard. The two witches didn't flinch at all. One grinned. The other looked indifferent as though nothing had happened. The two of them just stared at me silently, as though they were reproaching me.
何？不満？あんたは私による第5のゲームを降りるっての？それって不先輩？
バトラは降りないわよ。もちろん第5のゲームにも参加するわ。
勝手に決めるんじゃねえ。お前らに俺は付き合わない。知ったことじゃない。
ならやっぱり不先輩ってことよね。このゲームは魔女側の勝ち。人間は屈服ってことでお開きでいいかしら。
降りるなら不先輩でゲーム終了だけど。
Yeah, bro, you need to...
たった一人残された妹が無限の世界のすべてでたどる不幸な境遇を確定させたいのならそれも選択よ。
When Bernkastel mentioned Ainge, Battler's expression changed instantly.
てめえ、エンジェのことを気安く口にするんじゃねえ。
あなたにこの私、奇跡の魔女ベルンカステルが味方しているからこそ、エンジェにはひょっとしたら家族が帰ってくるかもしれない奇跡のあなたが自らそれを捨てて、エンジェの無限の未来すべてを不幸なものに確定するのもまた私には一興だけれども。
I vaguely understood what she was saying. Until I win in Beato's game, I'll remain trapped in this bizarre world. And if I abandon that victory, then most certainly my parents and I will never return to Ainge. For Ainge's sake, even though I know that the witches were toying with me, I must keep on fighting.
くそ。
なーに？ その不満そうな顔、自分の妹をグズグズのひき肉にされた怒り、もう忘れちゃったの。
Jesus.
プチプチブチブチ、無数の焼けたペンチで引きちぎって細切れにしていくあの光景、今度はちゃんと真正面で見ないとダメ。
Burn is a savage. Burn Costello pointed the palm of her right hand upwards. As she did, a pale light gathered there, and some kind of blue glowing crystal appeared there. A sea was reflected on its sharp surface, but it wasn't the scene that surrounded them now. If you looked deep into that crystal, that fragment, then you would probably learn what was reflected on there. Ooh. No thank you. If you stared at it, then you'd surely see the end Ainge finally reached after waiting 12 years and giving up everything for the sake of her beloved brother. The scene of her death throes as her entire body was torn to bits while she still lived. Without thinking, he grabbed at her collar, but as soon as he touched that which made up her form, it disappeared like foam on the waves. Then, as naturally as though she'd been there from the very beginning, Burn Costello was leaning against a distant wall.
あなたがゲームを降りるなら、これはかけらでなく確定した現実になる。
Well, that's not good.
その未来を紡ぐのは私じゃないわ。あなた自身よ。あなたが決めなさい。最愛の妹の未来をどうしたいのかを。
Battler's fist shook with anger. But even if he swung them down, he wouldn't be able to hit Burn Costello. This witch was like a phantom or a cat that you wouldn't even let someone pet her if she didn't wish it. And she was telling the truth. For Ainge's sake, I can't step down from this fight, even if these unpleasant wishes hijack the game board. Well, they kind of want him to win, so...
さすがベルン。脅し方もえぐいわね。そういうことよ、バトラー。あんたにはゲームを降りることなんて許されてないの。あんたもベアとも私たちの退屈を紛らわせるゲーム版のコマでしかない。あんたのそのわけのわかんない怒りやイラつきさえも私たちには退屈を紛らわす最高のお菓子。まあ、その程度の怒りじゃ駄菓子程度だけどね。
30円で2枚入ってるカレー味のポテトせんべい程度ね。
They're so savage.
魔女とも。
エンジェのためにも、そしてベアトのためにも。
So interesting seeing Burn's this side of Burn that I didn't know even existed in a way that was admonishing, or perhaps babying, like the headache you get after eating something too sweet. Burn Costello tormented Battler and smiled. By now, the host of this tea party, Beato, was absent. The guest witches were already making themselves at home.
どうすんの？後ろ宮バトラー。運命に屈しちゃう？降りちゃいなさいよ。魔女の駒にして遊ばれるなんてもうごめんなんでしょ？ベルンの駒は辛いわよ。きっとあんたもエンジェみたいに使い捨てにされるわよ。
あなたに降りる選択肢は与えてない。妹の未来のために戦い続けるの。私は味方よ。
Yeah, we'll see.
その未来にたどり着けるよう、あなたが勝利するまでサポートするわ。私が退屈するまで永遠に。
There's something very nefarious about these two that I can't let her provocation and cajolery rile me up. These witches know I get mad easily, and they're trying to take advantage of that. Battler withstood it all, and finally relaxed his clenched fists.
第5のゲームとやらが始めたいなら、 勝手にやればいい。好きにしろ。
好きにするわよ。あれれ、どこ行くのよ。
Even though Battler acknowledged his fifth game, he turned back on them, much to Lambda Delta's surprise.
お前がベアとの代役を務めるってんなら、そこのベルンカステルとかいう魔女が俺の代役を務めるのも勝手だろ。
道理ね。そうじゃないと不先輩になってしまう。
何よそれ。私が作る渾身のエピソード5をあんた無視するっての？失礼しちゃう、失礼しちゃう。
バトラーはしばらく休憩するそうよ。それまでの間、私がプレイヤーの代役を務める。それでどう？バトラー。
そうしやがれ。
なに？ラムダ。間抜けなバトラーじゃなくて、私がプレイヤーだと遊んでくれないの？
そんなわけないわ。ベルンと一緒に遊べて嬉しいわよ。さあさあ、遊びましょう遊びましょう。ラムダデルタ様の超ハイパーでキュートに可愛いエピソード5を一緒に遊びましょうよ。
一応ベアトの作った世界なのよ。世界観ぶち壊しにしてないでしょうね。
大丈夫だってば。私そういうのの空気は読める方なのよ。ちゃんとベアトっぽい世界観でもっと面白い物語に仕上げてみせたわ。バトラも休憩終わったら早く戻ってくるのよ。見逃すともったいないわよ。ベアトの秘密に迫れるようなボーナスヒントをたっぷり用意してるんだから。と見せかけてミスリード満載でますますに煙に巻く気なんだけどね。ちょっと、こらバトラー、魔女の話聞いてんの？
Without answering, Battler disappeared into the darkness. After shrugging and cackling, the witches immediately started playing with the game board they had stolen from Beato.
あの魔女どもにベアとのゲームは理解できるのか？
同じゲーム版を使う以上、この子にできないことはできません。しかしこの子がやらないことはやれます。
That makes it interesting.
やらないこととは何だ？
チェスの道具はチェスで遊ぶために存在します。それを使ってトランプをすることはできない。しかしチェスの駒を相手に投げつけてぶつけたり、チェス盤に落書きしてみたり、そういう行為をすることも不可能ではありません。しかしそれはチェスに対する冒涜だから誰もやらない。
That definitely wouldn't be chess anymore. Beato's eyes seemed to cloud slightly with sadness.
ふざけやがって。これは俺とベアとのゲームだ。他の誰にも冒涜はさせない。
At that time, gold butterflies gathered and Ronov appeared, holding a tea set with black tea.
紅茶のおかわりはいかがですか？
My man.
もらえるか？
かしこまりました。お嬢様の思考を探る旅は。
さっぱりだが楽しんでるぜ。
しかしよろしいのですか？こちらでくつろがれていても。
あの魔女どもが勝手に進めてるゲームのことか？
ええ、先ほど紅茶をお届けに伺った時には
What?
もう第一の番の殺人が起こり、もうじきその次の殺人も起こりそうな気配でした。
When Beato and I were playing, the game would be paused whenever someone left their seats. However, those witches wouldn't pause the game just because I wasn't around.
ロノウェは奴らのゲームを見たのか？
一部ではございます。
どうだった？
Ronov lifted the pot high with an elegant gesture as he poured the black tea. After finishing that, he finally spoke. He gave us his impressions of it.
愛がありませんな。
愛ってなんだ？
これは失礼。女性風に申し上げるとです。男性風に申し上げるならば、義理が通らぬと申しましょうか。
I understood what those words meant. When I met Virgilia's eyes, she shook her head slightly and stared at the floor.
上辺は大変よくお嬢様のゲームに似せていると思います。しかし根本が大きく異なっています。
それはベアとのゲームのルールに反することなのか？
いいえ、反しません。ラムダデルタ様はお嬢様のゲームのルールを実によく理解なされております。しかし
Battler stood up. There was no need to make Ronov say any more.
バトラク。
ロノウェ、すまない。せっかく入れてもらったけど、紅茶はいらねえぜ。
やはり参られますか？
ああ。
Hell yeah.
俺たちのゲームに部外者はいらない。
These guys weren't even here in the beginning. Because I've been loafing around, crazier and crazier witches have been introduced. And now they've hijacked this game between me and Beatrice.
取り返さねえとな。ベアとのゲーム版は今は俺が扱ってるはずなんだ。その俺がここでぼんやりしてるわけにはいかない。
ありがとう。その言葉をこの子に聞かせてやりたかった。
きっと聞こえていますよ。お嬢様はそれにお返事することができないだけです。
Beato lay there silently, like a living doll with dull eyes. The game board she had created herself had been hijacked by incomprehensible people and was being turned into a mess. If it was designed by her opponent, then Beato must have created this game for me. I've got to take it back.
待ってろ。俺が取り返してくる。
Of course, Beato didn't respond in any way. That's right. If she can't respond, then I have to protect it in her place.
行ってくるぜ。
Why can't she talk?
ロノウェ、黄金の眠り姫の面倒を頼むぜ。
はい、お任せ。
いってらっしゃい、バトラ君。そしてどうかこの子のいないゲームにてこの子の何かを見つけてあげてください。もしそれを見つけることができたとえこの子が不在であっても、あなたはこの子と戦ってくれたことになる。
そうだよな。ああ。全然ダメ。俺は何をやってるんだ。
Let's go, and let's take it back.
魔女ども、待たせたな。俺の休憩は終わりだぜ。
When he faced the jet black heavens and yelled this, the whole world shattered as though it was made out of thin glass. What in the world? Then, as though it had been that way since the beginning, it transformed into that smoking room where Battler had fought Beato so many times, and which the two witches had now hijacked.
なにあんた、今頃戻ってきたの？超遅すぎ。もうゲームは2日目どころか大詰めも大詰めよ。
バトラがいつまでも来ないから私が勝手に進めちゃったわ。
Yeah, like you even waited for me in the first place.
ベルンはあんたよりずーっと頭が冴えてて痛快だったわよね。
うるせえ。プレイヤーは俺だ。代役の魔女どもは引っ込んでろ。
別に今から参加しても構わないけど、もう出番ないわよ多分。
確かに。だってもうクライマックスはクライマックス。これで多分ベルンが詰めたゲームセットだもの。
なんだと。
いいんじゃない。最後の爪くらい見物しても。
そうね。おいでなさい後ろ宮バトラー。もうほとんどおしまいだけど、私の作ったキュートでエレガントなゲームエピソード5 End of the Golden Witch
Interesting. Let me save here. Hold on, I need to get back to that screen. Maria's dead? Okay. Her corpse was found in the cousin's room on the second floor of the guest house. The direct cause of her death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound was deep enough that anyone could easily confirm her death with absolute certainty. Okay. So all these people were killed, like... Okay, second floor of the guest house. Cousin's room. Okay, so they were killed the same place. Genji, servant waiting room on the first floor of the mansion. Direct cause of death is unknown, but is sliced open with a sharp blade. Okay. He was found dead in the same room as Rosa and Maria. Okay. Hideyoshi, guest room, first floor of the mansion. Demon Snake through his... Okay, and then I'm guessing that Jessica died because they had to split the two people? No. Huh. Okay. HSP, who speaks on behalf of the illusion of the witch, claims that all crimes in Rokujima were caused by the illusion of the witch. In the fifth game, she clashes with Birkenstow, who denies this illusion. She isn't in a position where she can know the truth of the fifth game, and this puts her in a different position than one she held in the games before now. Huh. Okay. I'm just trying to see if there's any... So he's still alive, we think. Okay. Interesting. Right now, no humans exist on this island except for those in this parlor. And with one exception, it had been shown that none of them had committed murder. And the culprit is among these people. What?
Oi oi, となると決定的じゃねえか。
魔女が犯人で魔法で殺人を犯したわけでない限りね。あんたなの？あんたがジョージを、主人を殺したの？どうしてよ？どうして
？Why did I think...
殺していません。
That's so weird why I was randomly thinking George was Hideyoshi's... Or why I thought Jessica was Hideyoshi's son.
私は何も。
In a panic and with a voice that was far from calm, in a manner that was, to put it coldly, unsightly, Aunt Natsui denied the suspicion placed upon her. However, there was no longer any way around it. She stood up, brushed her long hair, pointed at Aunt Natsui, and said it one more time.
あなたが犯人です。
Who the fuck is this?
後宮夏日さん。
Is this Burn? What the hell? That was kinda... Okay. Yeah, is that Burn? I'm guessing. She put herself inside the game. Okay, this is honestly starting so much different than I expected the episode to start. As she knocked loudly and repeatedly, Natsui yelled. Shortly after, there was a heavy clunking sound, and the sound of the door to Kinzo's study unlocking could be heard. As the door opened, a heavily sweet, venomous odor flowed out. Natsui was always ashamed of how she automatically grimaced at that, even though she thought it was rude to the family head. Kraus was waiting inside the study. Natsui flew into his arms.
お父様は
落ち着きたまえ。今、南條先生が見ている。
With an uncertain gait, Natsui walked towards the center of the study, supported by Kraus. There was a dignified bed fitting the Ushiromi family head could be seen, along with Nanjo, Genji, and Kumasawa. Actually, I'm gonna end here for today, just because I'm super freaking tired.